All right, welcome back everybody to Breakout Racing League Tier 5 at Canada. And we have a wet qualifying, it looks like here. 17 drivers. And we have a Mercedes on the grid now. Boosted is making his debut in Tier 5. And we have the largest attendance in a while at 17 drivers today. As we have the first driver starting to go out on track right now.
Rain qualifying.
Yes, we have a wet qualifying today. We're gonna have to see whether the drivers will obviously know whether it's gonna rain in the race or not. We're gonna have to wait and find out.
Port, the overlay stuck on starting soon. You need to change it to tier 4 overlay. Or Skeppy's doing it for you, right? Because right now the viewers can't see anything like.
Okay, how about now?
Yep, checking. Yep, all good, but it doesn't. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you're good now.
All right, we're good.
Yep.
All right, welcome everyone. Now that you can actually see the screen. Sorry about the difficulties there. This has been interesting getting set up. But we have a couple drivers out, and it looks like first one on a lap is Hungry Caveman here in the Alfa Romeo. Full wet conditions out, not even intermediates. So this will be interesting to see which of the drivers can keep it on the track when the cars are turned up to quali power.
Yeah, it's wet conditions. Canada's already hard enough with all the chicanes and the strict track limits, so we're gonna have to see who comes out on top. And if it dries up as well. It doesn't look like it, but
As we now have a couple drivers on the lap. Shredder, Money Hustard there, BRL Phantom should be the next one across the line. But Money Hustard there going purple in Sector 1. As Canada is an interesting track, you have a pretty twisty Sector 1, but Sectors 2 and 3 are largely straights, dominated by two different chicanes and one hairpin down at the bottom of the track, if you will. This last hairpin there is quite a tricky one. A lot of drivers might invalidate their laps over that, as the track limits around this track are extremely strict. As Hungry K-Man comes up to the line, and he sets the fastest lap, the only lap, 122.2. So let's see what the other drivers have to say about that, as Money Hustard should be the next one to come up.
it's tweaking. Yeah,
Excuse me, Tweaking comes up, the other Ferrari. Yeah, just barely beats out Caveman there. Hardly
AlphaTauri
anything
Phantom.
between those two. As Phantom comes up, he's a bit behind and is immediately jumped up by Money Hustard there. So your top three split a little over 2/10, and then bit ways down is Phantom in fourth place there. As number of drivers still in the pits. So they might be waiting to see if the rain lets up. We're not sure. We'll have to see how it develops over the next 13 minutes of qualifying. As we have a yellow flag, but that just seems to be traffic getting let by. And number of drivers coming in on their laps as Kieran goes between Money and Caveman there. And Marlin has set the fastest lap of qualifying so far, about a tenth ahead of Tweaking there. So a lot of drivers all pretty close in the wet. We'll have to see who can keep control the best.
Yeah, of course, Marlin, the championship leader heading into this race. Some momentum coming forward.
As TRL Stig there pulls into the pits. Tito looks to start a hot lap. And Tweaking goes fastest by quite a bit, about a 7/10 up on Marlin there. So quite the lap from tweaking.
Oh my.
As
Oh.
Shredder was out on a lap, but he must have invalidated. As, oh, nope, there he goes. Seventh position, 123.3. So a lot of drivers in the 22s, and pole position right now is in the 21s, actually. So we'll have to see who can pull those extra tenths out of their back pocket. As it looks like Tito is the only one currently on a lap. As he comes into the hairpin down at the bottom of the track. Quite an easy spot to lock up, but seems to keep control there. Oh, bit of a wiggle on the exit. See if he can keep it nice and tidy through this final chicane here. Next to the Wall of Champions, as it has been nicknamed, as almost every world champion has hit that wall at some point.
Yeah.
And he goes through, keeps it. Oh, doesn't quite keep it tidy. He gets a lot of wheel spin and knocks the wall there. See if he still sets a time. He does, but it is quite a ways off. I'm sure he'll be wanting to get out and retry that.
Jock retired.
As
Oh,
Harry
Jock's off.
Jock has crashed. Jock must have been on a flying lap. As you saw just passing there, he is out of qualifying now without setting a time. So that will not bode well for his starting position.
Yeah,
And we
another.
have another yellow flag. This looks like somebody else has spun too. That would
Nah, it's
be.
just the yellow. Oh, I think yeah, you're right. Not for a male. Okay, man.
Yep. Looks like Caveman's had some shenanigans happen. But most of the drivers seeming to get through all right as he pulls over for traffic there.
Another newcomer in this tier, dominant square or Diamante square, um, on the straight, going to the final chicane. Let's see what he can do. He's aiming for tier 4, as he said in the chats. So definitely someone to look forward to if he wants to move up.
So he crosses the line there, goes 7th at 123.0, so right in the middle of the pack pace-wise. As we have a couple drivers, the Renault and the McLaren, both on a flying lap right now, as well as Dark Flash a bit farther back. As Victor is still in the pits, yet to even get an out lap in, so we'll see what kind of strategy games Victor's playing there as we enter these final 10 minutes of qualifying. As Money Hustard improves, actually. Money Hustard goes to a 121.7. So he is up quite a ways from his previous time and now only about 3/10 off of pole position currently held by Tweaking. As Signs goes 11th fastest there, just slower than actually splitting the gap pretty evenly between Shredder and Tito. As we'll have to see what Redeemer can do. Oh, we did have a spin in the final chicane there. That looked like DMT square, but he seems to have gotten it back under control now. As the other Racing Point goes ninth fastest with a 123.2. As Redeemer still on his flying lap. Or seems to have started another lap, excuse me. As we also have TRL Stig starting a lap. We'll have to see where he can go. He has had some pace over these past few weeks, but he has also gotten into a bit of trouble with the
Yeah.
stewards as he was the driver who served a race ban for the Baku weekend. So we do have Ferrari letting people by there. Looks like Caveman might be on a lap. See if he can keep it tidy there. Yep. As he comes up to the line, can he improve at all? And he does. He improves to third with a 121.9. So
Still
both
can't mess the
Ferraris
Ferraris.
locking out the front row. But Alfa Romeo, the caveman there, is trying to do everything he can to split up that duo. As Redeemer invalidated his lap. So he will have to try again, probably pit for new tires as he doesn't want to keep too much wear on these.
A lot
And
of
if it does rain in
invalidations.
the race, Yeah, a lot of people getting invalidations as, like I said earlier, track limits on around here are very strict. So we see is that signs getting out of the way of traffic there.
Stick the time 1:23.3. It was 11th.
And boosted, one of our newcomers to this tier, he's currently sixth fastest. So he's doing well on his debut. Interesting conditions as a wet qualifying. I'm not sure I would want to make my debut here in the wet conditions, but he seems to be excelling. So about 7 minutes now. Some drivers on in and out laps, others trying to get a flying lap in, but I imagine as the time winds down, we'll see a lot more people going out for flyers.
Yep.
As it looks like Victor is still in the pits. So that's the Haas of Kieran Evans out right now on his outlap. Oh, he gets quite the wiggle on. Coming out of turn 3 there, so we'll have to see if he keeps it under control more or if he pulls his pace back on the outlap a bit. As Stig comes up to the line, let's see if he's on an outlap or... Yep, okay, so he did not improve on that lap, but looks like he's going on to another flyer now. See, let's ride along on board with him, shall we? As he comes up to turn 3 here, just over the curves there. Oh, gets a bit of a wiggle on, but keeps it tidy. As coming around this right-hander here. Car gets very light there. This corner is very easy to lock up, but he comes around nicely. As bit of wheel spin on the exit there, but now we're coming up to one of the high-speed chicanes. A lot of drivers braking around about that bridge there as he goes over these curves, keeps it valid. Could probably take a bit more through there, but these wet conditions, you never know where the grip is. Coming down to this hairpin here, gotta make sure you don't lock up your tires, but drivers in this tier are allowed to use ABS, so I imagine a lot of them are benefiting from that right now as it is easy to lock up your tires in the dry. But headed onto the back straight here, riding along with Stig and the Williams as we're coming up to the Wall of Champions chicane. Let's see if he can keep it tidy through here. And on entry, keeps a good bit of wheel spin on exit there. I don't know if he's gonna be able to improve his time off of that. He does improve though by a bit, so 22.9 there for Stig. As we go catch up with a number of other drivers, Kieran in 4th now. Looks like Marlon has fallen down to 5th from his early lap. As Tito is up in 6th and boosted down to 7th there.
Tweaking's gonna set a lap.
So we check in with the Ferrari there of Tweaking coming across the line. He does go fastest. So Tweaking on provisional pole there with a 121.4. We'll have to see what the other drivers say about that. See what his teammate in the other Ferrari, Money Hustard, has to say about that.
Oh, Kieran! Kieran sets a faster time. Wait, did you just say that?
Goes 2/10 faster. Kieran goes on provisional pole position with 4 minutes left with a time of 121.2, so beats out both Ferraris there. No longer a front row lockout for the Ferraris, as we saw a racing point there on a flying lap that looked to be Dark Flash, or excuse me, Dominant Square. As we'll have to see what this rookie has to put up.
Tweaking the qualifying, who got pole by over 5/10 last round, is being beat by Kieran, who got a podium last round. So both of them are started and ended on highs.
As we have a Renault come across the line, that looks to be starting a lap for Signs. There as DMT Square coming through the final chicane. Let's see if he can keep it tidy. Keeps it tidy there. So as he comes up to the line, let's see what time he sets. And it's a 122.5, so 8th position there for the racing point of DMT Square. The rookie breaks into the top 10. As his teammate there, Dark Flash, has invalidated his lap. So let's see if he goes for another flyer or not. As a number of drivers still in the pits, Victor has come out on track. So Victor there waiting for everyone else to speed up. As I'm told there's no game audio. How about now? You're right, I was missing game audio. That is interesting. But Victor on a flying lap there. Victor and Redeemer, the only two people not to set a lap, and Redeemer's current lap has been invalidated.
Oh no.
So see if he can keep it together.
Tweaking invalidated, so he's not going to prove he was 2 tenths up, but I'm on Hustard now. Can he beat Kieran's pole time? Yes, he can, by over 2
Yes,
tenths.
he does. Money Hustard. Money Hustard goes on pole position there with a 121.0. So now we have Ferrari 130, but the Haas of Kieran Evans breaking up the party there.
Tweaking invalidated this run as well, so I don't think there's enough time for him. Well, there is, but he's gonna have to rush it if he wants to get pole again. Marlon also invalidated.
And Stig is out of qualifying, as well as DMT Square. So coming into these closing minutes of qualifying here is going to be very important for these drivers to set a nice valid lap. As it looks like Shifts is on a lap right now. 20 seconds left, and then we're going to have to see if some of these drivers can even make it to the line. As Tweaking currently invalidated on his out lap, but let's see if he does make it to the line to start his last flying lap. As well as it looks like Shredder there. So everybody who is trying to set a lap has been able to start a lap.
Yeah, Kieran and Flash are both out.
And the Renault of Shifts will be the first one to come up to the line. Currently in 8th position. Between the two rookies, actually, Boosted and DMT Square. So let's see where he can place himself into the final chicane, keeping it nice and tidy. Oh, and he invalidates. He invalidates going through that final chicane. So is that the McLaren? That is the McLaren of Marlon right behind him. Let's see what Marlon has to say. And Marlon stays 4th fastest there. As Hungry Caveman comes up to the line, let's see what he can do. And across the line, stays 5th fastest. As we have Tito there going 6th fastest. Boosted staying in 7th. Victor has retired, so he isn't currently in 12th.
Hustard invalidated, so Tweaking's getting a slipstream going to the final chicane.
Tweaking getting a bit of traffic. Tweaking invalidates. Oh, the stewards might have a problem with that one. It looked to be a bit of blocking going into that final chicane.
He definitely blocked him there, and ironically, that was a Haas.
Shredder comes across the line, stays at P11. So that was a Haas who blocked him, but it appears all the drivers have completed a lap. So here's your final qualifying position. Money Hustard in the Ferrari on pole position with a time of 121.083. He's followed by the Haas of Kieran and his other teammate Tweaking in the Ferrari in 3rd position. Then you had the McLaren of Marlon, the Alfa Romeo of Hungary, and round out the top 5 there. As you see, pole position for Money Hustard. He is high up in the championship order, was leading it early on. But we'll have to see if he can reply in the race and keep that 1-to-1 pole position to race win. But your top five are Money, Kieran, Tweaking, Marlin, and Caveman. And the rest of the grid is Tito, Boosted Shifts, DMT Square, Signs, Shredder, Victor, Stig, Phantom, Dark Flash, Redeemer, and Big Hairy Jock. Redeemer and Jock not setting a time. Jock crashed out early in qualifying, but Redeemer was unable to set a valid lap. So he might have the pace, but he will be starting from the back.
Ferrari leading the constructors, showing why they lead the constructors. 1-3. Successful.
It's quite the dominant showing there from Ferrari as we have a dry race. All right. So the mixed up qualifying order there might have been because drivers were unable to use a wet setup in the rain. They were probably prioritizing a dry setup for the race. As we wait for the lobby to load. Thank you for everyone tuning in tonight as we have 29 viewers. So, Ferrari leading the Constructors' Championship right now. They are starting this race first and third. We'll have to see if they can get a nice points haul, but whether the Haas of Kieran Evans there in second has anything to say about that, we shall see. As we head to the grid here for the formation lap. With the wet qualifying, drivers do have a choice of what tire to start the race on. So as you can see, Money Hustard on pole position there is electing to start on the medium tire. So the medium tire will be the best race tire around here, as it has the best ratio of pace to drop off on wear.
Yeah.
The next three behind him are on the softs, so Money's going to have his work cut out for him on this first lap, keeping these soft runners behind. As it appears, Money and Kieran have pulled quite the gap to the rest of the field there. So I wonder if Money's going to try and back them up more so everybody isn't super spread out and they end up sitting on the grid for too long.
A lot of strategy variation. Some people on the soft, some people on the mediums. I'm assuming they would go soft, medium, soft, or maybe soft hard, considering the softs are new. But mediums for sure are the one stop. Medium hard for sure.
So these drivers starting the race on the soft tire, whether they elect to go for the more aggressive two-stop and think they have the pace to pull it off, or whether they go conservative and go try and take the softs to the hards to the end, as that will have the least amount of tire wear, but also slightly worse pace.
Oh, Flash is qualified.
Looks like there might have been a collision there between those two drivers, but fear not, they will not be disqualified from the race. So as the grid lines up here, join the back with Redeemer. See him come up to the grid. As he lines up into his spot here.
Alright.
So we are... Timer board glitches a bit.
Yeah.
As we wait for the 5 lights to come on. This is 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 light, and Away we go. As Money gets a good exit there. Let's see if anything. Oh, wow. What a start from Kieran in the Haas there. As Money's fallen down to second position, and he gets a move. The McLaren of Marlon all the way up there. He's pulling a fight to the Ferrari. As Marlon goes up to second position, and the timing board is very glitched, so I'm not quite sure where everyone is. But Money Hustard in the Ferrari there is being hounded by his teammate right now. Stays in front of his teammate. But it looks like Kieran on the soft tires has pulled quite a gap already. This Kieran has pulled over a second already, back to second place with Marlon. Both of them front runners on the soft tire. Money there, as predicted, has fallen back slightly, but he has kept it in third position on the medium tires. So we'll have to see how much he can claw back throughout the race there.
Yeah, very
There's
poor
a bit of
start.
movement down in the rest of the field as DMT Square is up to sixth position already. Boosted is falling back to ninth. Those are the two rookies. As for the rest of the field, they all come streaming through there. Everyone keeps it relatively clean on this first lap. As one driver is in the pits, that's Tito, most likely for wing damage there. But riding along with Money, Kieran has pulled quite a lead, but Marlon through tweaking is quite packed. The rest of the field is slightly spread out a bit. As the Mercedes of Boosted is being hounded by Victor. Victor's starting from 12th position. He is up to 9th. As Tweaking is falling off the back of his teammate there quite a bit. As Money has pulled about over a second already to him. So your top three right there is already spread out a bit. We'll have to see whether they stay together throughout the race or stay spread out like this. A bit of a battle in the backfield. Stig now all over the back of Victor. See if he takes a look at his chicane or not. As Marlon sets the fastest lap of the race. So that fastest lap being one extra point. As DRS has been enabled. So the drivers will have advantage of the drag reduction system. For those of you new to F1, drag reduction system, or DRS as it is called, is a flap in the rear wings of the cars that will open up in allotted points of the track, usually along straights, as you see it just open there on Marlon, but this gives the driver following quite a bit of extra speed as to aid in the overtaking process.
Yeah, Kieran is under pressure by Marlon there. There's a few position changes there between Victor and Stig. Boosted's looking for a move on Signs through the hairpin.
It's Boosted all over the back of Signs, as Veda said, through the hairpin. Coming up to the front, we have Marlon looking for a move on Kieran. Doesn't quite get it done, but keeps it nice and tidy behind him through the chicane. So, as he does have DRS, let's see if he takes a look into turn 1 or not. And keeps it tight, so he's going to be waiting. As we have our first penalty of the day there, shifts down at the 11th position for track warnings. Expect to see a lot more of those as the race goes on. As Victor, we have quite the battle here for 7th position. So a number of these drivers are all on top of each other through turn 3 there. And yep, there's another penalty.
Yeah, these next few laps you're going to see a lot of time penalties coming.
Yeah, expect to see those keep rolling across the bottom of your screen there. As a bit of a gap has formed between DMT Square and the rest of the field. Both behind and in front of him. Behind him, we have quite the battle here. All of these drivers in what you might call a DRS train there, back to back to back. As Boosted looked for a move on Signs there. Signs kind of shut the door on him on that one. As Signs gets quite squarely on the exit there, so let's see if Boosted can do something about it. Contact and Shredder and Phantom there falling to the back of the grid. Whether those drivers have wing damage or they were just spun, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Shredder just didn't give any space to Phantom, and Phantom, I would say, and where to go?
All of these drivers here, Boosted, Stig in the Williams, Boosted is in the Mercedes there, and Sainz in the Renault. These three are all on top of each other going through almost every turn. So one mistake from one of these drivers could ruin their and possibly other races.
Money's catching up to the two in the front, Kieran and Marlon. So it's a three-way battle for the lead, but Tweaking is falling off a bit.
Yes, Tweaking on the soft tire, interestingly, is falling off of his teammate on the mediums. But Money does have a penalty, as already a number of other drivers on this grid do. Marlon practically pushing Kieran through that last chicane there. And Marlon pulls out, takes a look, but decides against it going into turn one. Stig and Harry Jock there side by side going into turn one. And Jock seems to come out on top of that, so Stig is falling behind as Boosted is in the pits. Boosted going onto the hard tire. He did acquire wing damage in that battle, so looking to replace his front wing there. As more penalties are starting to roll in. But Jock now, the big pressure on Sainz, as Sainz and Victor both have quite the gaps to the driver in front, as well as DMT Square. Caveman in 5th position, giving Tweaking a bit of fight, and your top three still battling it out for the lead. Marlon gets, with the aid of DRS, gets the move done going into the final chicane.
Oh, Kieran under pressure now.
Kieran gets a time penalty coming through that chicane. Track limits, as I've said, around this track are quite strict, so that's going to have to be something drivers watch out for.
That really gives Marlon less pressure, though. The top two behind him on 3-second time penalties.
The Williams of Stig there is sandwiched right between the two Renaults right now. Everybody looking for moves into turn one, but nobody quite able to pull them off just yet. As Money is now on the back of Kieran, and Money gets past Kieran. So Kieran has fallen back from the lead down to 3rd position. Lap 7 right now, closing in on lap 8. The soft tires are going to start dropping off a bit, not too badly, but this is when Money's going to start getting the pace advantage as virtual safety car comes out.
Oh,
that is the Williams of Stig.
Oh, never mind.
Stig had crashed out. And possibly Tito going slowly there too, but I believe that was Stig who had acquired damage. As we see Marlon take advantage of this virtual safety car, drivers do have to follow a speed limit around the track, so he's going to be losing less time than a green flag pit stop as he elects to go into the medium tires. So those aren't going to last to the end, so expect to see Marlon coming in again towards the end.
Do you think he pitted for the hards? Could he make it? I don't think so.
Well boosted GMC down there in 17th. He is trying that as he just pitted one lap ago on the hard tires.
Square and Victor are battling.
Some drivers better able to take advantage of that virtual safety car than others. Square is up to 6th position as we have a yellow flag. That is one of the Renaults. The Renault shifts crashed out there. He is crashed out right at the high speed chicane of turns 4 and 5, I believe. Right in the middle of sector 1 there.
It's a really awkward place to crash there, but it just adds to the list of another self-inflicted crash, but this time with a retirement, so.
As it looks like Marlon got past Dominant Square down there going into the chicane, so Marlon on these fresh medium tires is quite the pace as he now looks for a move on Victor. And it looks like he has DRS, so that's another move on Victor. So Marlin up 2 positions in just that last sector alone. As that is the Haas of Kieran in the pits. Kieran started on the softs. He's following the same strategy as Marlin, going onto the mediums. But going one lap later.
Yeah,
so you can really see the advantage Marlin got of pitting under virtual safety car there.
Yeah, and then he has 3 cars separating them both, so Kieran's gonna have to fight really hard and pass without losing too much time if he wants to stay in this fight for the win.
As Money Hustard, your leader, has pulled quite the gap to second place. He's up almost 5 seconds. So let's see if he does have that 3-second penalty though. So we'll have to see if Tweaking can keep up the pace and get close enough to take advantage of Money's penalty. As Big Haired Jock and Dominant Square there are battling, going through the hairpin. Jock around the outside. Let's see which driver gets DRS and which driver is able to stay ahead.
Where he gets DRS.
So
so does Jock.
Jock who got DRS there.
Both of them got because of Victor. Victor's falling off there. Another DRS.
Victor on the old mediums there, falling off. As Tweaking his pit again. Tweaking made another pit stop. I mean, he must have incurred wing damage or something, because he had just pitted like a couple laps ago. As Victor holding on to 4th position there from Jock. So Marlin on the fresher tires, and Money has increased that gap significantly. Now that gap's almost 7 seconds.
Kieran's on square.
We have a Mercedes going practically stopped there, as it looked like Boosted was having troubles in that final chicane. And troubles indeed. He is missing almost all of his front wing there, so that is not great. But hopefully he can recover well. As Victor, Doc did get past there, so let's see if Victor can come back at him on this straight. And Dominant Square and Kira in there having quite the battle as well.
We're the only one in the top 10 on the soft, so you can really see the pace loss on those. He's really going on a lot still on these softs. Maybe he could go soft hard, considering the softs are new. Oh, Victor's off.
As Victor getting into trouble there in the early parts of the lap. Now Dominant Square all over the back of him. Checking back in with their leaders. Honey has held that 7-second gap, but Marlin has caught up to Caveman in second there, as Phantom gets a penalty. So the only drivers in the grid not having a penalty right now are Caveman, Marlin, Victor, and Tweaking. Every other driver has at least 3 seconds worth of track penalties. Oh, excuse me, Boots did down in 16th too. He has kept it clean. Oh, I say kept it clean. He has knocked off his front wing, but he is obeying track limits correctly. As your leader, Money, comes into the pits there, but Money looks like he's getting held for some reason. Money got held quite a bit in the pits there. That's not good.
Jock left. I'm invited.
As Jock has left the session, we'll see if we can get him invited back in. But Money there losing quite a lot of time, getting held in the pits for no apparent reason to me. But now we have quite the battle as Tweaking's closing in on Jock's AI there. The AI is not going to be nearly as fast. As it looks like Boosted has been ghosted too. Wonder if he's having connection issues.
No, that's the blue flag.
Oh, Boosted is being lapped.
Yeah. But yeah, tweaking past Square, Victor, and Jock. So yeah, he's in the fight for P2, but I don't think P1 is a realistic.
Victor's being followed quite closely by Money Hustard there, but Money gets past. So Money back up to 5th position. A couple seconds behind his teammate, down, up in 4th. As K-Man is your current leader of this race, but he is out of the pit cycle slightly, so we'll have to see where he cycles back in later in the race. Marlon up to 2nd position, so quite a strong showing from the McLaren. As Kieran gets a time penalty. So we check in. One driver, Phantom, has 9 seconds of penalties. Couple have 6 seconds, but most of the rest of them only have 3 seconds worth of track penalties right now. Track limit penalties, excuse me.
Yeah, only 3 people without the penalties. That's a lot.
So Tweaking there, closing in on Kieran. A slight lockup from Tweaking, but let's see if he can do something about it with the aid of DRS here, going into his final high-speed chicane. Tweaking all over the back of him, pulls to the inside, and gets the move done in the braking zone. Keenan trying to hang on, but looks like Tweaking has held it, as we do have Harry Jock back in the section, so he'll be able to regain control of his car. As Redeemer picks up a time penalty. And Dominant Square there, the only soft runner left, has now pitted. And he's put on the medium tires. So I wonder if he thinks he can make those to the last to the end or not. We shall see.
I think probably a soft, medium soft would be viable, because if you pit early on the softs, you definitely will not.
We can't also underestimate the factor of a late race safety car.
Oh, Shredder's gone.
And that is Shredder going into... Shredder has lost quite a lot of his front wing. Kept control of his car though, so nothing too as he cuts the corner there. Wonder if he's underestimating how much downforce he lost there with his front wing. As K-Man comes into the pits. So your former race leader now entering the pit, so let's see where he cycles back up, but that does give the lead to Marlon. So the McLaren of Marlon up in 1st place right now. As Money's down in 4th there, sets the fastest lap of the race. See, he's pulling in on Kieran as we have another yellow flag. That looks like Shredder struggling to get back to the pits. And more time penalties are rolling in. But Money all over the back of Kieran there, trying to get that final podium position. Salvage some points, get a double podium for Ferrari there.
Now look how much Marlon has poured away. He timed that undercut so perfectly compared to everyone.
And Shredder able to pit. But Marlon, yes, with the aid of that virtual safety car, has pulled quite the undercut on everybody else. His his tires are slightly older. As virtual safety car comes out as Harry Jock is retired. So it looks like Harry Jock had a bit of an incident there.
Will we see anyone pitting?
Shredder was in the pits, but he had already entered the pits from before the safety car started.
We might see Victor. Yeah, Victor's going in.
Victor takes advantage. Don't see anyone else. Virtual safety car can be ended as soon as the incident is cleared, so no spectacular restarts or reforming of the grid here. So whatever time he loses will be less than a green flag pit stop, but still will lose some time, as there's a McLaren in the pits. That would be Redeemer currently, as we are going racing again. So green flag, overtaking is allowed, as Kieran, Tweaking, and Money here are all over each other. Coming into the fast speed chicane there, Tweaking still holding out, but Kieran, he's going to be getting, Kieran and Money will both be getting DRS. Can anybody make a move into that final hairpin there? Doesn't look like it. Let's see who gets the best exit though. As we come towards the final chicane here, drivers getting DRS. So will Kieran be able to make a move or not?
He's out of DRS.
Right on board with Kieran. Oh, what a move by Money there. Money comes through that chicane, gets around Kieran. What an angle there.
Yeah, Jock in the chat, he said, took control of my car and I put him in the wall, so that could be a Codemasters problem.
Codemasters have been struggling, as on Thursday night there were quite the shenanigans happening with the lobby and Codemaster servers for us.
That was
trying
probably
to host the
Xbox
race.
Live, wasn't it?
But Marlon, your race leader, pulling almost a 9-second gap back to Tweaking there. Tweaking, Money, and Kieran are still in this three-way fight for 2 podium positions. So like the game of musical chairs, there's 3 of them going for 2 spots. So we'll have to see who are the 2 winners and who's the loser. As lap 17, so round about halfway through this Grand Prix, we still have 15 drivers running. We had 2 retirements. All but 3 drivers right now are on the medium tire, as you see that is Tweaking being hounded by Money. Can Money get it done into turn 1? They're going too wide. Oh, looks like they're almost banging wheels. Money staying just behind for now. We'll see if he has to wait, how much longer he has to wait before he can retry that move. But
Not
Kieran's
Team Orders.
slightly falling off the back of them. No Team Orders present in Ferrari, but as we know from real life, there never really was recently. As you see, slightly down the order, fighting for the final points position there is Signs and Redeemer. Signs getting past Redeemer on that back straight. So Redeemer now falling to 11th. Has Dominant Square in the racing points, pulling up to the AlphaTauri of Phantom. Phantom there on much older mediums than Dominant Square, so Square will have the advantage of fresher tires, but we'll have to see whether he has the skill to line up the move or not. And while we were watching them battle, looks like quite the battle is happening again between these 3, as Kieran has gotten in front of Money there. But Money holds the position in turn 1 later on the brakes there. We'll see if Kieran fights back through these next few corners. And sector 1 is where all the twisty bits are. So most of the overtaking moves will be in the second half of the lap. As all of this fighting there, though, between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place has let Marlon, the McLaren in the lead, pull over 9 seconds of gap. So he's closing in on almost half a pit stop of gap there.
Yeah, pit stop, you lose around 15 to 17 seconds here, so if he extends the gap more, he could get a free pit stop from this.
As you see farther down the grid, Redeemer has gotten back up to the back of Signs here, as well as Stig being on the back of Dark Flash there, so we'll have to see if these drivers can keep it clean. As check back into the battle between Dominant Square and BRL Phantom there. Square getting quite a good exit out of that back corner. We'll have to see once he gets DRS. He gets that extra about 20 kilometers an hour. And see if he can get the move done, as he does, as Phantom pulls behind going into the last chicane. And Dominant Square will get DRS again on the front straight, as there's only 1 sensor for 2 straights here.
Stig on Flash as well, back for 12th place.
Dark Flash and Stig there coming up to the line, going across, and Stig looks to get the move done. He does get it done going into turn 1 there. As back towards the front, Money is catching up to Tweaking. So Money's going to have DRS here, as Kieran has fallen quite a bit off the pace of these other 2 though. As Money gets the pass done with the aid of DRS there. So Money up to 2nd place now. He did start the race in 1st. Marlon has over a 9-second advantage. We'll see if Money, now that he has a bit of clear air, whether he can catch up or if he's going to keep battling with his teammate there. There's a couple battles happening on track right now. Signs has fallen a bit back off the back of Redeemer, so Redeemer was able to get past there. Dominant Square pulling quite a gap on Phantom already, almost 1.9 seconds. Has that better tires. They're 7 laps old compared to 16 laps old. Tito there on the 19 lap old hards. So he has pulled. He's doing quite well for the old hard tires. And up front here, Money pulling the gap down a bit to his rival Marlon, who's in the lead. That gap coming below 9 seconds now. And the gap back to tweaking from Money is up to over 1.4, so Money is pulling quite a bit on his teammate. As we see Signs and Redeemer coming out of the hairpin there. A bit of a gap forming between them. A bit of a gap between all the drivers now, so the action has settled down a bit.
Phantom's in the pits.
Yep, as Phantom is into pit for another set of mediums. As Tweaking gets a 3-second penalty now. As Caveman and Marlon both still not having penalties. So that's serving Marlon well. He could fall 3 seconds behind Money if Money ends up catching and passing him. So long as Marlon keeps it clean.
If there's a light safety car, those penalties will really play a disadvantage, as Tweaking and Kieran are both in the pits.
As well as Dark Flash in the pits. As Boosted GMC is catching up. Let's see if he can get his lap back. But yes, Tweaking and Kieran both in the pits. As Caveman now jumps up to 3rd position. So 12 laps left in this race. These guys pitting for medium tires will be taking them to the end. So we now know that these tires will last that long. It looks like we have a battle. Phantom and Shifts there. Phantom on new mediums. Getting past Shifts pretty easily.
You mean Signs?
Tito is in the pits. Signs, excuse me.
Well, everything's calm now. Let's look at penalties.
So let's see. The most penalties right now is 15 seconds. BRL Phantom there.
And
Money
Shredder.
Hustler. And Shredder, excuse me. Top down in 2nd place, Money has 6 seconds worth of penalties. So Marlon right now working with a virtual 14-second gap back to Money. His teammate in 4th, Tweaking, has 3 seconds worth of penalties. Tweaking under fire from Kieran right now. Let's see if Kieran stays behind going into turn 1. But a number of drivers having 6 or 9 seconds worth of penalties. So drivers around here get 3 warnings for track limits before they are issued a 3-second penalty. So if you do the math, some of these drivers having upwards of 5 sets of penalties, and others as few as 1 or 0. Is Tweaking staying in front of Kieran there. Your current podium is Marlon, Money, and Caveman. As Stig sets the fastest lap down in 11th there. Kieran's still on the back of Tweaking, so he has DRS now. Let's see if he can make it work. We right on board with Kieran here. And coming in the final chicane. Bit of a lockup from tweaking there. But Marlon staying behind. As that looks to be Phantom. Phantom having a spin there. Wonder if he has any damage from that. Don't think so, but that loses him out of any battle that he was having. Now down in 9th place, and the two Williams are rapidly catching up to the back of him. So he might be joined by a different company now. Kieran still on the back of Tweaking, falling back slightly, but not too much. As Money has caught up a bit more, now that gap is under 7 seconds. So Money looks to be one of the fastest cars on track right now, at least compared to Marlon. As Marlon comes into the pits. So your race leader Marlon is into the pits. 17
follows.
lap old mediums.
Sorry, Money follows.
As you're right, Money Hustler does follow him into the pits. Both of these drivers going for these soft tires, so they're planning 10 lap stimp on the soft tires there. See if they can, who of them will get the fastest lap of the race. As Signs down in 12th place is also on the soft tire right now.
Money's gonna come out of the pits battling Kieran and Tweaking.
So Money right back in the battle that he was having earlier in the race between his teammate Tweaking and the Haas of Kieran. So these Ferrari-powered cars doing well in this race, as the leader in the Alpha is Hungry Caveman right now, but Marlon on 0 lap old soft tires will be rapidly catching up to the older mediums of Caveman. As Redeemer goes into the pits there, and he is fitting the soft tires. So a number of these drivers showing which strategies they have opted for, whether it's the 2-stop, the aggressive 2-stop, or the safer 1-stop on harder compounds.
Looks like Victor there.
You're right, Money lines up and does get a move done with DRS. So Money up to that final podium position in 3rd place there, as he's now only 6 seconds behind Marlon. But 2 of the 3 drivers that don't have penalties are 1st and 2nd in this race. So they will be cemented pretty heavily into that spot, as Marlon, like I said, rapidly catching up to Caveman, has pulled that within a second. So over this next lap, we should be seeing the move for the race lead done. As Tweaking and Money there, still slightly battling. Money pulling over a second ahead now, though, so Tweaking will not have DRS off of him. As Marlon's coming onto the back of Caveman here, see if he chooses to get DRS on this back straight, or what he does. Keeps it tidy through the hairpin. So coming onto the straight here, there's going to be lap traffic that they're coming into. Lap traffic will ghost though, so they won't have to worry about collisions. As Marlon gets the move done, going into the final chicane.
Yep,
Caveman are going into the pits. So Marlon, the race leader, out pulling
positions
the
are
gap, but
almost decided here now.
Money down now only 5 seconds behind. So Money setting the fastest lap of the race too at a 1:10.631. So Money's trying everything he can to catch up.
Yeah, I'd say at this rate, Money has the pace advantage over Marlon, but Marlon, of course, with that first and second stint where he was just flying, he has that advantage as well. And he's getting DRS from Flash, so it is helping him.
Yep, Dark Flash now going a lap behind. As we have a bit of a battle here. Tito on the back of Phantom. The Williams driver on the Alpha Tower. His teammate Stig was pretty close behind, being Tito, but he has fallen off a bit. As Victor there's coming up to the back of DMT Square, the other DNT Square's teammate in the pits, but DNT Square on his debut, he's up in 5th place, so he's looking strong.
Will Victor go for the move? That's a very ambitious move, but he stays out from it. I think he gets a corner cut from there. Gets a DRS. He has to overtake. Will he plan to go on turn 1?
Nope, dominant square, they're holding position. But Marlon's still trying to hold pace to Money, but Money seems to be the fastest man on track right now. Victor and dominant square, still a very close battle, as well as Tito and Phantom there.
Oh, square
Number
goes loose.
Yep, so Victor very close to the back of him going into the high speed chicane.
Buddy. Flash.
As Victor going into the final chicane keeps it behind dominant square, but let's see whether he wants to make a move with DRS or not.
Actually, hold on. Square hasn't pitted yet. He's still on his second stint.
That is true. Square's on 15 lap old mediums, so
Yeah, I
I'll
think
be
you're
interested
right.
to see whether he can make those to the end or not. That would be Sergio Perez levels of tire savings if he is able to make it to the end on these mediums.
Yeah, don't forget Kieran though. Kieran is pulling on them both. So we're gonna see a three-way fight for 5th place, sorry. If Square can hold these guys off with old mediums, that would just be incredible.
As up towards the front, the gap has stabilized to about 4.5 seconds between Money and Marlon. So Marlon finally picking up the pace there. Marlon aiming to not get a penalty, as that is probably the last thing he wants to do right now.
Oh!
But
Victor's crashed! Victor has front wing damage! Kieran's crashed as well!
Victor,
Kieran's
oh
retired.
dear, virtual safety car. Kieran, one of the fastest men, has DNF'd out of this race.
Oh,
And Victor, his teammate there, has wing damage, so not great showing from the Haas drivers there.
I don't even know what happened there. I mean, they didn't even collide together, but this certainly helps Square so much.
Square now with the virtual safety car, he'll be able to save up that much needed ERS and save his tires a bit. Looks like green flags have come out. I believe so, yes.
Pits. Square is safe.
Yep, Victor's in the pits. Square now has
so
quite the gap to anybody, really. So Square got very lucky there. Now he just has to nurse these tires and make it to the line.
Yeah, definitely. With 2 drivers gone in a lap, he's just gonna not have to worry about track position and just cruise these tires to the end.
Yep, as Phantom is still under pressure from Tito there. Both of them are on pretty equal sets of medium tires. As the timing board has now broken itself again. But your leader Marlon still holding 4.3 seconds back to Money. So Money doing well to hold the gap as Tito acquires a time penalty. As let's check on the penalties though. So K-Man has to catch up a couple seconds more, but then he might be able to take a podium away from tweaking there. He'd have to catch up about 2 seconds. Excuse me, about 4 seconds, sorry. Maybe he'll be able to pull that off.
Square in the pits now. Well, he just left the pits.
As Marlon gets a 3-second penalty.
Oh.
So Money's still having 9 seconds of penalties, but Marlon no longer a perfect race, but very good job by him to hold out all the way until lap 32 out of 35 to get his first penalty. As Hungry Caveman is now your only driver in the race to not have a penalty. As Redeemer picks up another penalty. Shredder and Phantom right now, both at 18 seconds worth of penalties. In fact, as I say that, Phantom gets passed by Victor.
Victor can still have a chance of getting that 5th place he desires as Square pitted, so
Square has gone into the pits.
both aiming for
That might be a
fastest lap.
bit of a free pit stop for him as he had quite the gap. As Kieran has left the session. Square, I do imagine is going for the fastest lap on the brand new set of soft tires. But as we come on to 3 laps to go, closing in on 2 laps to go. Marlon still holding. Marlon has pulled that gap about a half a second more, so Money might have pushed too hard initially, and Marlon's doing just a better job of saving his tires.
2 laps remaining.
As we enter the penultimate lap of the race, Marlon in the lead. The gap up to 5 seconds now. As Dominant Square has quite the gap to anybody, really. Tito there, still on the back of Phantom, as Tito's been working on Phantom for a number of laps now. But your leader Marlon there, closing in on lapping his teammate there. As you see on the mini-map, the next driver in front of him is his teammate, LDR Redeemer.
Yeah, and
Down in
Hustard
10th position.
is losing a bit of time to him. Square another 3 second. Wow, Square is really pushing. Is he gonna get fastest lap? No, he doesn't.
Nope, any lap you get a penalty on cannot count towards the fastest lap. Oh no. So Marlon slightly catching his teammate, but Marlon pulling even more of a gap back to Money there. A gap up to 5.8, almost 5.9 seconds now. Tito's still working on the back of Phantom though. Phantom doing an excellent job of defending throughout this race.
Yeah.
But we are on the final lap of this race, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tier 5. Breakout Racing leader in Canada. Your leader Marlon has 5.6 second gap. The only real change of position that's not based on penalties right now is possibly between Marlon and Phantom and Tito. As Boosted has passed Dark Flash. So Dark Flash must have had something go wrong, but Boosted has been passed again.
Yeah, Boosted.
They're having quite the battle there, though. Down in 13th and 14th position. But Marlon on the back straight now. That is his teammate, Redeemer, up in front of him.
Oh, Boosted
Redeemer
gets
will
past.
be able to finish.
Oh, yeah.
Boosted does get past Dark Flash.
Marlon's going to cross the line.
So, Marlon, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Marlon has won the Canadian Grand Prix. As Tweaking gets a penalty. Money has finished. Tweaking has finished. K-Man is coming up to the line now. K-Man jumps up to 2nd position on penalties.
Oh, wow.
Barely beating out Money there. So good job on K-Man there, keeping his nose clean.
Yeah, Marlon extending that gap, that championship gap. Crucial.
Has a couple drivers down there on the bottom. They are finished as they do not have, they are classified as a lap down. Dominant Square coming up to the line now. He finishes and stays his position. K-Man there beating out Money for 2nd place by just 0.2 of a second. Great work on track limits by him. As we have Tito and Phantom coming to the line. And Phantom falls down quite a bit because of his penalties. Stig jumping both of them up into 7th position. And as Redeemer comes across the line. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Tier 5 Canadian Grand Prix of Breakout Racing League. Marlon, your winner. Driver of the day, TRL Stig. I don't know. I would place Marlon as my driver of the day. That perfect strategy by him of pitting under that early safety car, or virtual safety car, let him get quite the gap to everyone else.
Yeah, I'll invite them to the party now.
Yep. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, your podium. McLaren, Ferrari, and Alfa Romeo. So here are your results, ladies and gentlemen. We have Marlon as your winner, came in at second, Money in third. Quite the showing for Ferrari there, third and fourth place. As fourth place is Money's teammate Tweaking. Then we have Dominant Square, Victor, Stig, Tito, Phantom, Redeemer, Signs, Boosted, Shredder, Dark Flash, Kieran, Harry Jock, and Shifts. So good driving from all the drivers. As we check if they've gotten into the party.
Just one person in the party. Do we really have to? Well, I'll invite them one more time.
So, quite the race tonight. We had a lot of on-track battles and a lot of penalties deciding the final results, as Caveman able to jump up to second on penalties. So as we head to the post-race interviews there, drivers, be sure to include your audio. But we'll start the interview with Caveman there. Caveman, welcome. That was quite the race you had there. Very good job on strategy and keeping your nose clean and being able to jump up to second position on penalties at the end there.
Yeah, thanks. I can't believe I jumped up a second there. I didn't think I was going to get within 9 seconds of, I think it was Money. And then I guess Tweaking must have got a penalty in the last sector there, I'm assuming. I think well, anyway, yeah. Just, happy to get through that without any penalties, and because I knew most of the drivers were going to get at least a couple penalties. So if I stayed clean, I knew it was gonna be good for my result.
Yep. Well, great driving tonight, and hopefully we'll see more podiums and more good results from you in the future.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us tonight. That was Tier 5 of Breakout Racing League at the Canadian Grand Prix. Stick around. Coming up at 9 p.m., we do have Tier 6 racing. So, come back in a bit for more racing action. Thank you for tuning in.